on the show because I know I wanted to bring somebody that, when you asked Neal with Remax out here to help you sell your home, I know he pissed you off.
Well, I have to tell you that when the decision was made that Linda and I were going to sell the house, I have always been a person who, when there's something in my life that I need to do, whenever I don't know anything about that, my mantra has always been find the very best and then let them do their job. And so Linda and I interviewed 3 or 4, maybe 5 different people, and real estate people. And I can tell you that from the moment Neal came in and sat down in our kitchen and we started the process of talking, I knew within 5 minutes that he was the guy because he presented himself professionally. His reputation preceded him, and he launched into not what I wanted to hear. He told me what the facts were about the market of today. Like, quite literally within the first 5 minutes, I found out that my house wasn't worth anywhere near what I thought it was. And Neal was the one that shared that with me. This man, and I'm saying this to you because if anybody out there is looking to buy or sell a home, I don't think I've ever had a better experience than I had with Neal, in that once I pulled him in, knowing that we're going to list the house, I said to him, okay, what do you see that I need to do to get this house ready to list? And he looks at me and he smiled and he said, how honest am I being? And I said, you can't hurt my feelings. I want to sell the house. And he said, we have to paint the entire inside of the home. And then he guided us through each and every part of what needed to be done. We got close to the time that we're going to list it. And he said, based on the cost of your home and based on what the market is doing, I see anywhere between 3 months and 9 months to sell the house. We listed it. This man, Neal Weichel, sold our house in a week.
I'm sorry, Mark.
And as a result, my wife and I live in a hotel now.
Yeah. Well, Mark, first of all, it's great to hear your voice as always. All of us, we probably have some Pavlovian dog reaction to hearing your voice because we've been listening to it for so long, and it's such a great voice to hear. And I just wanted to say that, you're very kind to say all those things, but here's the key. We were talking about the market. Now the market's changing and how 2013, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. When you have a seller that does exactly what you ask them to do, when you have a seller that returns phone calls when something important needs to, and this guy's a busy guy. I mean, this was right when he was wrapping up his KLOS gig. So it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a seller and you work with your agent, you trust that agent, and that agent can trust you, you're going to have success. And it's funny because I was doing a Sand Canyon market analysis this morning, and your home's still the highest sale that's been there this year. And that was earlier in the year. And there's a reason for that, and part of it was me, but a bigger part of it, quite honestly, was you and Linda.
Well, I realize, look, I'm a radio guy, and I don't know much about real estate, but I do know this. If you're going to sell your home, you need to be prepared to invest a little money to get the house ready to be seen. Because I will tell you what the buyer told me after we'd sold the house to him. He said, my wife and I have been looking for 3.5 years.
There you go.
Everything in the market was short sale or foreclosure. He said, you wouldn't believe what horrendous shape those houses are in. And the moment I stepped through your door, I called my wife and said, get over here, I found it. Because Neal and I and my wife, we left no stone unturned. My house was turnkey, crystal perfect, ready to go. And not only did Neal sell it in a week, we sold it for what we asked for.
Yeah.
Because we invested the time and the money to get the house looking fantastic. And that's what sold it.
Agreed. One quick thought on this too that's coming back to mind, because we're going to talk about this market going into the new year, guys, is we also sold it without an appraisal issue. In appraisal right now, when you sell a home so much more than the short sales and foreclosures in your neighborhood, you have to be able to navigate that appraisal issue. You know, can you get it removed? Can you get it, can you get it taken care of very quickly if it has to stay in the contract? So all of that, I think, was communicated, very clearly between Mark, Linda, and myself, and the result was a successful sale. So it's nice to reminisce.
Yeah, and Mark, it's great. It's very nice of you to share real estate information, obviously on a real estate and finance show, go figure, and obviously hearing your voice. And if you just tuned in, we are fortunate to have Mark Thompson with the Mark and Brian Show, now with the Mark and Linda podcast, on our show. And we're going to talk more with Mark on what he's up to, some of the fun stuff him and Linda are up to in the family, as well as information from Neal Weichel on what's going to happen in 2013 when we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KH.